G'day everyone, welcome back. Last time I was out off the rocks fishing, ballooning, I told you all I was thinking of a new way of attaching my balloons to stop rubbish going into the water. Since I've thought of it, there is a lot of other benefits to this new method that I'm thinking of trying as well. So I'll whack you on my head, we'll get through it. I'm going to try to be quick because it's about 38 degrees today and it is cooking in this shed. So let's get through it. Alright, as you would have seen last time when I was out off the rocks, you got my wire trace, my bait, it comes up to my swivel onto my balloons. I've got this little swivel here where I attach my balloons because it allows them to dance in the wind when I've got more than one balloon on, spin around like that, and it doesn't tangle up my main line. But what happens at the moment, the fish, for me it's a shark, grabs the bait, pulls down, and pops off the balloon. And as you can see, it went flying. Usually that goes flying into the water, which is terrible. I do use biodegradable balloons, but they take a long time to break down. Still plenty of time for that balloon to float off into the water, something to eat it, choke on it, or do any of the other nasty shit that rubbish does when it hits the water. So I'll run you through making my new setup, and then we'll test it out. So hopefully you can see all this. These little rubber bands, $4 for 800 from Kmart, which is excellent, so you'll need them. An easy rig. Now the hole through there is not big enough at the moment, so you need to drill that out to the thickest part of what your main line is. So for me, because I'm using mono, it'll be the 1 on leader where it attaches to my double. So I've measured that, 5 mil, I'm going to drill it out to. If you're fishing braid, the thickest part of your line is probably going to be your FG knot. So hold it in the pliers. Oop. You want to drill that out. Make sure there's no sharp edges on there, get that. And that's all good. Now, I'm going to attach a swivel to that, and I'll get it on my main line and show you the theory behind what I'm going to do. Alright, this is the new setup. Bottom end's exactly the same, got the wire trace. I'm all caught, got my wire trace down to my swivel, but now, I hope you can see that, but now you got the running rig. Before we go any further, I'm going to pull down to the thickest part of my line. Double meets the 1 on leader. So now I'm going to get my running rig that I've made and just make sure it slides over it without getting caught, which it does. So I'd advise doing that. If you're going to try this method, I'd advise doing that before using it, but that's all good. So I'll wind the slack up. Alright, now to set it up, what we want to do is get one of our little rubber bands. Now these little ones can be a bit finicky and funny to put on. You can use a bigger rubber band if you want, just so it's easier to make the bite, but these ones break easy, which is what I'm looking for, what I'm after. So you want to put that through the eye of your big swivel. Take a bite over it just like that, and then the loop here, this loop, go into the running sinker. So undo that, put it on there. Now that there is attached. So that'll hold it there. If you're fishing near a ledge, you probably don't even need the rubber band because the wind should hold the running rig at your swivel. But because I'm casting it out off the rocks, I need that on there just to hold the balloon at the swivel. All right, now we'll attach the balloon. There you go, that's how it's going to sit in the water. Your trace with your bait on it, sitting down in the water. Your balloon's going to be sitting there. I've still got it on this swivel for that same reason. If I've got two balloons on, they can spin around without tangling up my line. All right, so that sits like that. Excellent, holds it there. Now when a shark comes along, or if whatever fish you're targeting comes along and grabs your bait, that's going to pull down, and with very little resistance at all, it's going to snap. This here now acts like an easy rig does on the bottom when you're using it with a sinker. You should have plenty of these laying around as well, because South Australia's got one of the worst managed fisheries, so it gives a good reason to use these again. But that's going to work on the surface just like one does on the bottom. It's going to allow the fish, like I said, for me it's a shark, to grab that bait and run with it without any resistance. When a shark's got to grab it and pop the balloons off of here and actually pull the balloons down and pop them, there's a fair bit of resistance that fish or the shark feels before it's even hooked. Sometimes it can drop the bait. For some reason, if the shark does drop the bait, with this method, you've still got your balloons on. So as long as you've got your wind and your tide going with each other, this should slide back down and hold your bait up, which will give you a second chance. If that fish hasn't felt any tension, there's a good chance it's going to come back and eat the bait. When the balloons pop off and they break, with the old method, where I fish, I've got to wind it back in. As soon as I don't have something keeping that bait afloat, I've got that much structure and stuff that my line can get fouled up on at the moment. You can't just leave it sit there and wait for that second bite. So now I can leave it out there. That'll blow back down even without a rubber band on it. Hold my bait off the bottom. I can leave it out there for another 20 minutes while I get another new bait ready, another rubber band, and then hopefully I can get a second bite while it's still sitting out there. So yeah, that's just one of the advantages. Like I said, the main one is you're not adding rubbish to the water. Another advantage is when you do land a fish, you've got your balloons on still. You can use the same balloons. All you got to do is whack a new rubber band on, new bait, and you got it back out there and you're fishing again within 5 minutes. And like I said, you're only using 3 balloons for the night, and when you finish, you can chuck them in the bin, not in the water. Another bonus I've thought of is while you're fighting a fish, especially at night, whoever you're with on the rocks can see what direction the fish is running, because these will be sitting on the surface where your line meets the water. So they'll be able to see what angle the shark's running, the fish is running, and what direction it is, which will help, especially when you're leadering it in at the end of the fight. A couple of disadvantages I've thought of with this rig. One, you've got the possibility of this getting caught on your knots a bit further up. It should be easy to knock off. I don't think it will happen. I've slid it up and down a number of times. If that does happen, just walk back up the rocks 5-10 metres, and then whoever you're with can still trace the shark in. I don't think it will happen. I've thought of it, so I thought I'd tell you. Another big disadvantage, not a big disadvantage, but if you get busted off, you're losing that whole lot. No one plans to get busted off, and quite honestly, if I do get busted off, that's going to be the last thing on my mind. I'm going to be swearing my freaking head off that I've just lost a fish, which I'm sure everyone else is probably in the same boat. What else? Another disadvantage I've thought of with this is if you're not fishing close to your rod, usually when you're fishing the other method, if you've got a bite, you've got a pretty good bite indicator because your balloons have popped or they've broke apart and they've spread off. Because your balloons will still be together and this will still be on your line, if you can't hear your drag, there's not going to be much of an indicator apart from these moving left to right on the water that you've had a hookup. But you shouldn't be fishing too far away from your rod with this style of fishing anyway, so I don't think that's a big deal. It's just something to be mindful of if you are out in the rocks and you're used to looking at your balloons for a bite. All right, I reckon we can get this out onto the water. and give it a shot, see if it works. This is all pointless if it doesn't work. Where I'll be heading out on the rocks, I'm sure many people have fished there before. If you have fished there before, please keep it out of the comments. Be respectful to the area and other people that fish there. I do like sharing as much info as I can with people, but yeah, some spots you just want to keep to the people that already know them. 3 tips I do have for you if you're new to land-based fishing and you're looking for a new area. The first thing is go on the Windy app and have a look for offshore wind. As long as you've got an offshore wind, it's pretty easy to get balloons and stuff like that out. The next step, jump on your Navionics app, see if there's any ledges or drop-offs or reefs near the area, and then finally jump on Google Earth and see what the access is like in and out of the area. Sometimes on Google Earth you can also see if you've got broken bottom out from shore and if there's any reefs close in, which helps as well. And yeah, get out and fish it. Sometimes you'll fish a spot that's absolutely dead, but it's all part of the fun and games. Every now and then you'll get into a spot that's absolutely dynamite as well, and you'll know what I mean by wanting to keep certain spots to yourself. But yeah, get out there, and we'll see how we go with this rig. Next time I see you, we'll be out on the rocks. Alright, the moment of truth. Let's see if this rig works. Well, hopefully next time I cut to you, we'll have a shark on it.
Can you do me a favour, Scott?
Yep.
Gloves are in there.
Oh,
Top of my tackle bag.
you don't need your gloves. I think I can see balloon. Yes! Yes! The balloon rig worked! How good's that? You can see what way the fish is going as well. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. I need to go that way quickly.
Yeah. Just keep your rod tip up. If you have to, back the drag off.
Uh-oh.
Well, this is treacherous. Be careful. Be very careful.
This is fucking treacherous.
You might have to come back over this way, Dimmy. Where is he? You might have to come across, Timmy. Keep your rod tip up for a second. Up, up.
Bench yourself with a bone.
Yeah, come in here. Alright, come across to me. Try keep him over this side. Yes, come in here. I'll see if I can grab the leader.
Will he drag easier on his belly?
There's the rope.
Yeah. Hook the hookers.
Yo, balloons worked. I can't tag in.
That's a beautiful fish. It's nice and healthy.
Yeah, go. Turn your headlight off.
Is that alright?
Rocks, you know, they're slow.
Hold the tail towards me a bit. You happy with that, Jimmy?
Let's get back.
Silly mole.
That's alright, it's alright, it's alright. Off she goes. And would you look at that? Still got my balloons.
I think on the beach would be so much fun to do that.
Oh,
They're not hooking out.
mission success.
I didn't hook a 7-footer.
You don't have your phone on you, do you?
You put my rod on as well.
Hide on there.
Can be right.
Yeah, that's alright.
Sweet.
Get him back. Here.